First and foremost, all praises, glory, honor goes to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Citation of the Akim. Pushing this word day in and day out. I'm going to do this quick lesson. It's entitled Esau is Losing on and Off the Field. All right. So this devil, he knows his time's short and he's mad. He see these young Jakes with a brighter future than him. You know, this devil's party, barely paying his mortgage, barely satisfying his wife, barely just, being in existence, right? So he sees these young stud Jakes, all right, that, appears to have a brighter future, if Babylon were to keep going, Lord willing, it doesn't. And he just does the ultimate hater move, man, which that's the spirit, because I've been saying a lot lately. The spirit of hatred is in the air, not only amongst our people, but the heathens too. So let me play this quick. It's a deep spirit of hatred out here, man. Like I've never seen before.
Three. That is three. That is
I'll play it one more time.
Three.
So you see the cop, he's the one that initiated contact. All right. And he thinks he's big with his little vest on and his little Batman belt. So he's the one that did it, man. And number 27, he's a good teammate, because he told number 8, which I believe number 8 name is Nick Harbor. He's like the star wide receiver. He's definitely going to the NFL, big 6'5", track speed guy. He just like, man, come on, fuck it, man. So that's a good teammate. That's a good, brother to have in your side, period, to de-escalate certain situations, all right? Because we know the scripture says agree with thine adversary quickly, which, if the spirit leads to it, I might get it. All right. While he's in the way or whatever. So, but this is just, this is a foul move. You ain't going to do that to the Edomite kicker or the Edomite offensive lineman or a guy that appears to be an Edomite, right? Edomite long slapper, but he see two big Jakes do it, and he them Texas Edomites are something else, man. Because they say this, this game happened in Texas because this is South Carolina versus Texas A&M, and them Texas Edomites are something else, man. If you ever do any advertisement, for your business in Texas, be prepared to call or to be called a hard R, man, a nigger, man, by these devils, man. All right. So then he's gonna turn around like he did nothing wrong, man. Get out my way. So they say he just got a slap on the wrist. The trooper was relieved of his game day duties. All right. So let me get this precept. This is Psalm 73 and 5. They are not. Let me see if it's more meat. It might be more meat on that. Psalm 75. I'll start at 3. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Esau, the so-called white man, because you got 3 classifications of men: the children of God, which are Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners that descend thereof on their father's side. And then you got the children of men, the heathen, the natural heathen nations, talking about, your so-called Chinese, Moabites, so-called East Indian Elamites, so-called Arabs, Ishmaelites, so-called natural African, the Hamites, and so forth, right? The Ammonites, Japanese, I could keep going on and on, right? Then you got the sons of the wicked. That's Esau, the so-called white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Like this guy right here, man. I mean, this is truly an Edomite, man. Like even the Israelite foreigners got their shit with them, but they run with a little bit more class. Because you got white boys that look like him that are really Jakes. But, this is the proud man, all right? Scripture talks about that proud man. I mean, he's mad he ain't got muscles like these Jakes. You know, these Jakes like 19, 21, 20 with full belly muscles, and he ain't got no muscles. He ain't got no rod. These Jakes got full rod. I mean, Esau hates everything about us. He hates our complexion. You know, this is the devil, the red man the Bible speaks of, man. All right. So, and I remember playing football. Of course I ain't played D1, but I remember playing football. We'd had the police escort us to the games in and out the stadium safely, or back to our school safely. You know what I mean? Things like that, man. So, the police is always around football events, man. They get paid to, keep the premises secure, per se, all right? Because you got, as you see on social media, you got crazy parents, crazy dads fighting players. And I think it was an instance with Little League football, like a dad ran out the stands and tackled one of the players. You got crazy nutcases out there, man, that be at these events, man. You got drunken fights, I wouldn't be surprised if human trafficking goes down at these stadiums. You lose your kid. It's 100,000 people in a stadium at any given time. You lose sight or lose track of your child. And, I think it's a lot of demonic activities happening at these stadiums. Adultery, a lot of these women that be trying to get with these players, they got husbands at home. All right. So, you do need some type of police or security at these games, man. To keep everything fair. I remember I went to a Redskin game. It's probably like, I want to say back in like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. I remember seeing a Edomite get knocked out, man, bloodied up, right in front of me. So you do need, because you got a lot of different spirits, man. So you do need some type of security out there, all right? So, this probably make a good thumbnail right here, man. That'll be a good thumbnail. And it says, for they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So imagine if that was a Jake, so-called black police officer, which you got a lot of them in every state. It ain't like the 1950s no more, where all the officers are Edomites, so-called white men. We're in the 2020s, man. The late 2020s. So you have, these nigga officers out there. Imagine if that was him, hitting Peyton Manning's nephew in the tunnel, man. Oh, man, he'll lose his job or get suspended, all types of shit. But this devil, he only got relieved of game day duty, which certain devils don't like football, man. They don't like seeing big, strong, athletic Jake. So they rather, just work the beat. That could have been his plan all along, man. Man, I'm tired of this game day security shit, man. I'm not a security guard. Let me go back on the streets, man, and harass these niggas, man. All right. Verse 6, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. Here it is, them Jakes weren't even thinking about this. Didn't even see this guy. And look at the shit he did. He ain't gonna do that to the coaching staff, the Edomite coaches. He ain't gonna do that to the Edomite cheerleaders at these big schools, man. You know how much money these games make off of Jake's blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifices? Every game day, it's at least $1 million, man. At least minimum. I'm talking lightly. I ain't even considering TV revenue and all that shit, parking, and these Jakes in these college towns be netting over 10 million every weekend, man. I mean, just to put it light, man. That's light number, man. Because you gotta think of the rich alma mater and shit like that be donating money, right? The sponsors and shit. The boosters, all because of our people's magnetic and athletic abilities, man. Our gifts, man, basically. Like, get out of my way, nigga. Everybody on social media saying that this Edomite said, get out of my way, boy. In Texas, them police officers call Jake Boy, man. Cause I know, cause my cousin, he went to Texas, man, and he got into a situation where he got locked up or whatever for something he had in the vehicle. Told me the officer called him Boy, man. They don't really do that here in the here in the Mid-Atlantic region or Northeast per se, because it's more politically correct out here. Jake be they'll check a devil, in the legal side quick out here. Like a Jake will really get a lawyer and sue out here. Down south, y'all put up with more shit with Esau, so he's more of a devil, man. All right, and why the fuck my windows open? It's lucky I just saw my fucking windows open, man. That's why, brothers, man, get your own goddamn place and be living with these hoes, man. Be doing all types of weird shit and don't even tell you. But that's the society we living in, man. We bought our camp yesterday, servants upon horses. This is a servant right here, but he's in a high position in society. Police officers pretty high in this society, even though they don't pay much. At most, they probably make in the low hundreds, thousands a year, anywhere from 70,000 to low hundreds. So they don't make that much money, but they do have the power and authority to arrest you. All right. Let me see what the comments say. Oh yeah, I'm not logged into this fucking Twitter shit. Yeah, I'm not logged in, so they won't let me see it. So, but even most people, they saying, man, it's some bullshit. Imagine that officer pulling your ass over, right? And he's having a bad day, because his wife ain't give him some box. His wife is holding out on a box. Imagine an officer like that pulling your ass over, man. All right. He's mad. He's in his 40s, 50s, and he ain't amount to half the shit, these Jakes have, man. This is Ezekiel 35. Let's see, it's probably some more meat on this. 35 and 3, and I'll start at 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Talking about Esau, right? It say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir. How about you so-called white man? I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee. And that's the times we living in. Where any day the Lord could bring in Jacob's trouble. We don't know the exact hour, but we know it's soon. And I will make thee most desolate. So the Lord's going to take away all your goodies, all your inheritance, all your little daughters and nieces, future concubines, as I call them. Future slaves, right? And I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. Yeah, you're going to lose it all, man. The Lord's getting ready to strip you and make you bare, man. And I'll make thee most desolate. So you're going to be like an empty bottle, man. All right, here it is. You filled up. Even these lower level Edomites, they got all types of benefits and insurance policies and shit where they could get paid at any moment. Job security. But scripture says, in thy security thou shalt be destroyed. I will lay thy cities waste. Yeah, from these big metropolitan cities to these little college towns and little country towns and shit. Hick towns. Towns that you dread your car break down in, man. He's what they call a sundown town. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. So you're going to know there's a God in this day. Because most Edomites, they'll say they don't believe in God. Or if they do believe in God, he looks like them. But that day, they're going to know, the Son and the Father, man, and how he looks, man, all right? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by force. So imagine there wasn't no cameras there. Imagine there was two Jakes just walking in a store, and he's walking out and he did that shit. right? He would have drew the sword on him, man. That's how the devil gets down. And it says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and in the time that their iniquity had an end, man. All right, so Esau hates us to the max, man. You know, when the Edomite smile on your face, man, you know, I'm looking back at him like, you know, you better not try anything funny. You know what I'm saying? And they know it, man. Like, oh shit, he's not a regular one. He's a problem. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, I will prepare thee unto blood, man. A scripture say we're going to dance in the blood of the wicked. So we're going to see a lot of you eat them. It's going to be a lot of niggas dying and spicks dying. Wetbacks, Native Americans. They're going to be dying out here, but we're going to see a lot of you Edomites die as well, man. And it says, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. All right. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I'll prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, like this devil really wanted to kill them Jakes. He didn't care they had pads on and shit. He needed a reason, man. Even blood shall pursue thee. So imagine if he would have pulled out his pistol, his service weapon, you know, on them young Jakes, man. You know. This would have been a national story, which it is now, but it'll have been a global story, man. You know, so that the whole world will know who the devil is, man. Isaiah 33:1, woe to thee that spoilest. Yeah, he spoiled and robbed and raped, murdered our people. And thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. So our people ain't fight back. They ain't do a goddamn thing, man. You know, our people's tomorrow's Monday morning. Majority of our people getting ready to go to work. They just doing a little Sunday recovery, sleep a little bit more hours. You know, getting ready to watch some NFL. All right. Do whatever they do. If they don't like football, they'll do, you know, whatever activities they like, whatever hobbies they like. Go to the gym, go to the movies, go get something to eat. When thou shalt cease to spoil, hey, that's the times we living in right now. Esau ceasing to spoil. You know, he's trying to be politically correct. Thou shalt be spoiled. So, yeah, now the Lord is getting ready to jump on you devils, man. He's about to pounce and trounce you fucking Edomite. And when thou shalt make an end of deal treacherously. Yeah, that's what he's doing now. You know, real soon they about to do away with these different internet comment boards and shit like that. They shall deal treacherously with thee, man. All right. So our people's, as scripture says, who shall rouse them up? So the Lord's about to rouse up, you know, Jake. These are young Jakes too, man. You see in that clip, man. You know, that's gonna be the generation to really fight this devil, man. You know, these Jakes right here, man. All right. Gen Z, you know, they're every bit of like, you know, born in like 05, 06. You know, these are the young Jakes that's gonna really be having their hands on this devil, man. They really brought here for one reason, because you don't really see, even though you got brothers out there from that age bracket, you know, Gen Z, late Gen Z, born in the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, but you know, most of them ain't out here doing the work. We're according to them, we're old men, we're ancient men. You know, brothers in their 30s and 40s, all across Babylon and up, man, pushing his word. According to them, we're old heads, we're unks. But, you know, really they should be out here on the front line teaching this word. But, you know, they, you know, chasing that vain glory, man. You know, trying to be at the next NFL prospect and shit like that. The next social media guru and shit like that, you know, going viral. So, you know, the Lord ain't really choose a lot of them young guys, man, to as of right now, the forefront of this truth, man. So, you know, them guys gonna be death angels real soon, man, giving this devil hell, man. So I'm gonna end it there till next time. Shalom.